As Mark starts to appreciate how appalling his diet is, he's confronted with some home truths in an emotional letter from wife Tina.
My darling Mark, I don't tell you often enough how much I love you and really appreciate everything you do for our family. I want to take this opportunity to also apologise.
I've not been in a good place emotionally lately. I have felt very angry with you for a number of years, for abusing your body and allowing your weight to spiral out of control. The family is suffering as a result. You don't take the kids to the park or play with them in the garden because your weight hinders you.
My worst fear is waking up one morning with you no longer around and having to explain to Lauren and Matthew that Daddy died because he neglected to take care and look after himself.
We haven't shared the same bed for many years now because of your snoring. I want us to be a loving couple again, with lots of fun and laughter, having the life that you deserve. Now is your chance.
I love you very much. Your loving wife forever, Tina. Tough.
If that's not motivation, I don't know what is.
I can't go back now.
You can't, no.
As a father and a husband reading that letter, it was incredibly difficult to hear those words because it brought home just how much I've not been, the father and husband, that my wife and my kids have really wanted me to be. I've neglected them, and it's got to change right now.
It's day 4 in the feeding clinic, and serial snacker Mark is coming to terms with his 3rd morning without breakfast. Meanwhile, Dale is struggling with one of 3 super stuffed corned beef rolls.
Have you felt quite tired all week because...
All week, like I've been taking naps, haven't I, in the afternoon?
I know.
Couldn't do that.
How do we honestly get on with our day? With me shoveling all of that, and then, it's like my body wants to go into hibernation mode. No wonder I'm feeling tired all the time.
Tiredness after eating is often caused by fluctuations in blood glucose and insulin. To keep levels steady, avoid refined carbohydrates such as white bread and go for whole grain and protein-based meals instead.
But it's come apparent to me as well that, seeing you, not having nothing to eat every single morning, it's kind of made me realise how stupid it is not to have breakfast.
Yeah.
Come on in then, Dale.
The penny seems to be dropping for Dale, but to reinforce his message, Dr. Christian wants to show him what all undereaters could develop if they don't get the nutrients they need.
These are all pictures to do with malnutrition, what happens if you're not eating enough of the right things. So my first picture for you is this. Tell me about it. What do you think?
Is it some sort of, abscess?
It's a very big, angry-looking ulcer. You can see the skin is all macerated and dead and white. Lots of different causes of ulcers. The most worrying ulcer, and the reason you should never really ignore ulcers in your mouth if they persist, is cancer, mouth cancer. You're a smoker. So you are more likely to get ulcers, and you're more likely to get ulcers that are due to cancer. But there's another very important cause that is relevant to you as well, and that is vitamin and mineral deficiencies. And the one I want to talk about here is iron and folate. Iron is very important for forming blood and the oxygen-carrying molecule, and folate actually as well helps produce red blood cells. If you're not getting enough iron and folate in your diet, and therefore you're not making red blood cells that function properly, you're not going to be carrying oxygen around your body.
Common sources of iron and folate include dark leafy green vegetables, fortified cereals, liver and beans. All cheap and easy to find in local markets, stores and supermarkets.
So, let's move on. This is because of a condition called scurvy. Scurvy is a disease that sailors used to get. They used to become very deficient in a particular vitamin called vitamin C. Scurvy is not a very nice disease. It causes tissue problems, tissue breakdown, causes skin cracking, flaking. You are deficient in vitamin C in your diet. You are lacking enough of this, and you're also a smoker. Therefore, that means your vitamin C requirements, say compared to mine, are actually much higher.
The best sources of vitamin C include peppers, broccoli, oranges and kiwi fruit, proving healthy food needn't be expensive.
Vitamin C is important because it also helps the absorption of other vitamins. So if you're not getting enough vitamin C, maybe you're not getting enough vitamin D. And if we look at the last picture here, it's a condition called rickets. Rickets causes the bones to soften. It's called osteomalacia. And they just sort of bow out from under you as if they can't bear your weight. Vitamin D comes from two sources: diet, and it also comes from the action of sunlight on your skin.
Good dietary sources of vitamin D include oily fish, eggs, fortified cereals and margarine.
By having such a restrictive, minimal diet, you are bringing these on yourself. The way you avoid getting them is you simply increase the quality of the food that you're eating. And actually what's nice for once in medicine is the solution's quite easy. Yeah?
Yeah. You know, knowing that that could happen to me really hit home. You know, it was a good lesson for me to, you know, kind of like come to terms with just how bad my diet is, and if it progresses the way that it has been going, you know, that could actually be my reality.
It's lunchtime, and Dale's cheese panini has inspired him to give Mark a health lecture of his own.
Can you see all that coming out of there?
Yeah.
I mean, like, when you see the grease and stuff, does it not make you, what do you think?
I really didn't pay much attention to it. Yeah, I kind of more see the fact that it tastes all right. That's the problem. I'm not thinking about what's in the food.
I think that's both of our problem, isn't it? We've not got any control over our food. We don't know what's going in it.
No, absolutely. Pretty disgusting. Dale did me the hugest of favours when he picked up that piece of cheese and squished it. And seeing his face, the absolute disgust, made me feel very, very uncomfortable. I've been ingesting stuff like that for years and haven't thought about it in the slightest iota.
With a diet high in cheese, processed meats and butter, Mark's been consuming almost 4 times the recommended amount of saturated fat, increasing his chances of developing heart disease and erectile dysfunction. The good news is saturated fats are easy to replace by choosing low-fat alternatives and using vegetable oil instead of animal fats in cooking. Mark knows he faces an uphill struggle, and to make sure there's no chance of turning back, Dr. Christian has a message from America, a glimpse into the future he's perilously close to if he doesn't change.
I'm Mark Beattie, 38 stone, live in Los Angeles. I'm 46 years old. Food is an addiction probably for me. I can eat my whole day calorie in one meal. Showering with my bathtub the way it is, it's kind of uncomfortable, so I have to stand sideways. I also have a shower head that's attached to a hose, which I have to maneuver so I can get under my folds of my skin. Came to a head about 1999. I had constant thirst. I was urinating a lot. I had explosive diarrhea, and at that time I was about 28 stone. I got sleep apnea, high blood pressure, triglycerides are way out of proportion. That's just fat in my blood. On my right leg I got cellulitis, and it's a real bad skin disease. All these right here are just from where I scratched, and they got infected. I could lose my foot. If it gets too worse, it'll eat up the muscle, and then I may lose my leg. I met a girl online. As far as sexually, it's just, I was, worried about hurting her, go on top of her and stuff like that. And my belly gets in the way, and maybe I can't make the penetration as easily. She got to the point where she went and had, found someone else, that satisfy her needs. To this day, I still love her, but I can't be with her anymore. I'm lonely. I don't like being by myself. I want to have a partner in life. Mark, you're on your way to some serious health problems. I know, I've been there. You need to do this for yourself, your kids, your wife. I had relationships with my girlfriend that, we couldn't sleep in the same room together because I snored too loud. And that put a big wedge in between us, and we ended up breaking apart. You have a family that you need to do this for, so you can be there for them and watch them grow up. I long for what you have. So if you're going to do something about it, do it now.
Tell me.
Well, the signs, everything that he was explaining about himself are already showing evidence.
He was your weight once. That didn't suddenly happen to him.
Yeah.
Did it?
No.
That was every day, just, I'm all right, another day, don't need to do anything. Until one day you just go, there's no going back, really, is there?
No.
Whereas with you...
I never want to get to that stage.
You can do something about it now, and you know you can.
Yeah, I will.
I'm going to be sending you off to America to go and meet Mark.
Right.
Just as the final push. Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.